Hello, and welcome back to part 2 of Breathe into Balance. In all levels, full body yoga flow, practicing Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana, also known as standing Half-Lotus Forward Fold. My name is Jen. This is Zen with Jen Yoga. Make no mistakes, you are here for a reason. To help you through this practice, grab 2 blocks. And if you don't have blocks available, you could also use a couple of books. Part 2 is going to allow you to track your progress in this pose and see how far you can come with just a little bit of consistency. Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana is great for increasing the flexibility in your hamstrings as well as relieving tension in this area. This pose supports the mobility in your hips, and it's going to be great for naturally relieving pain in your back and your shoulders. Also, you'll learn how to breathe through any challenges, both on and off your mat. So we'll start off by setting intention and warming up. We will build to the peak pose mini flow from earlier in the series. We'll explore the peak pose, and then we will mindfully cool down and end, allowing the practice to balance and to fully integrate with a short savasana. So, go ahead and put your hair up if you need to, get your comfortable clothes on, roll out your yoga mat just wherever you can find the space for it. Get your 2 blocks or your 2 books. We'll get moving and grooving. And I'll meet you on the mat with the intention to breathe into balance, practicing Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana. I will see you there. Now that we're ready to go, we're going to start recline. So just come on down. We'll take the blocks and place them towards the top of the mat for now. And as you're lowering down, while we set this intention of breathe into balance, think about welcoming possibility in on your inhales and inviting balance on your inhales. And on your exhales, soften resistance, let go of tension. So you could come onto the soles of your feet. You can either hold the back of your thighs, or if you want to challenge yourself, bring your arms out straight, spread your fingers, and then lower down slow and with control. And then once you get down, slight tuck at the chin towards the chest. You can hug your knees in just to get your low back flush to the mat. And then you're going to extend your legs out straight, bring them really together, and just let your feet fall apart. Bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. And we're going to take 3 rounds of 3-part breath. So again, inviting in possibility, inviting in balance when you breathe in, softening resistance, letting go of tension when you breathe out. So go ahead and start breathing in. Let your belly rise first, and then your rib cage and your chest. Exhaling in the opposite direction. So chest first, then rib cage, then let the belly fall. Navel come in towards the spine. 2 more rounds like that. Breathe in, belly rises. Rib cage and then the chest. Exhaling in the opposite direction. One more round. Exhale. Take some normal breaths in and out, and you have the option to bring your hands to prayer with your thumbs touching your sternum. You can leave them right where they're at, or you can bring your thumbs to your third eye, to the middle of your brow, middle of your forehead. And we're sealing in the intention of breathe into balance, both on and off the mat, or if you want to set another intention or dedicate your time on the mat, go ahead and do that now. But take a really deep breath in and make an audible, sighable exhale, sealing in this intention. Go ahead and inhale. And open your mouth to let go. Now you can open your eyes and just bring your palms down by your side. Bend both of your knees, bringing the soles of your feet flat. And then take your right leg and hug the knee in towards the torso. So grab the shin and hug, compress the thigh. Then you can take your right arm to the inside of your right leg and bring your left hand to your hip so that we know that the hip is facing up. And we're coming into a half happy baby. So you can bring the sole of the right foot up as you grab the big toe with your two peace fingers and your thumb. And start pulling the right knee in towards the armpit. And maybe you keep your left knee bent, or you can try to straighten it down as the left hip stays facing forward. So half happy baby variation. Now rebend your left foot and then take your right foot and cross it over your thigh. But for today, let's bring the sole of the right foot into the crease between the thigh and the hip, or the thigh and the torso, and see if you can bring the top of your right foot onto your left thigh. So kind of in a reclined pigeon, but the foot is in towards the groin. And then you could stay here, or you can thread your arms through, trying to grab the back of the thigh, or maybe even the shin coming around instead of threading for this pigeon variation. And then you have the option to straighten the left foot, straighten the left leg, pointing the sole of the foot towards the ceiling. And then you can point the toes, really feeling from the ankle to the toenails. And then flex. Notice the whole bottom from the heel to the toe mounds. Just a couple of times, just noticing the top of the foot, noticing the bottom. Breathing in and out. And then once your foot is back flexed, you can roll your ankles a few times in one direction, and then roll them a few times in the other direction, or roll it, excuse me. And then you're going to rebend your knee, bring the sole flat. You can uncross the right leg and then bring that sole flat. So now take your left knee, grab your hands around the shin, and then hug that thigh in towards your torso. And now you can take your left hand, grabbing the big toe with your two peace fingers and your thumb on your left hand. Take a breath in. Bring your right hand to your hip point so you can make sure that the hip point is facing up. And then exhale, extend the sole of the left foot up towards the ceiling. Actively bringing that knee in towards the armpit. And then option to straighten the right leg, keeping it in line with the hip and the hip facing up. Have happy baby variation. Now go ahead and rebend your right knee. If it's not, bringing the sole flat, then cross the left foot over the thigh, and then again, bring the sole in towards the groin. the top of the foot resting on top of the right thigh. Allow the knee to extend away from the hip. And then maybe you thread your arm through, grabbing the thigh, or even around, grabbing the shin for this pigeon variation. And then option to straighten the leg. And then you can point and flex. So feeling from the ankle to the toenail on the right. When you flex from the heel to the toe mounds. Really extend through the ball of the foot even, and then inhale. Exhaling and inhaling, pointing and flexing. And now roll that right ankle a few times in one direction and a few times in the other direction. And now rebend the right knee, bring the sole flat, and then uncross your left foot. One more time, you can hug your knees in, massage the sacrum, maybe rock back and forth, maybe not, maybe just stay still. And then we're gonna rock and roll up. So you can hold the back of your thighs, or you could just cross your ankles and sit up. But to get some momentum, start rocking back, up and down the spine. You might even notice a vertebrae or two cracking. And then on your third roll up, cross your ankles, and then we're gonna come sit up to a kneeling position. So a quick Virasana. Now you could take one of your blocks and bring it on the low setting lengthwise. Bring it through the thighs, catch it in between the feet, and then come on to the top of the shin, the top of the feet, bring the knees really together in Virasana. So ironing out the shins, the top of the feet. And then breathe in, reach your arms up. And then we're just coming in for a quick twist. So you might be able to grab the block, inhale to sit up, and then exhale to turn. Or maybe you're on a book or a pillow here. Inhale, and then low and slow to come out. Again, arms reach up. Left hand to right knee, right hand behind you, either on the block or your book or pillow. Face forward first, sit up tall, reach through the crown. And then exhale, twist, relax the belly, let it be soft. And then a breath in, and then low and slow to unravel. Come onto your hands and knees, and then remove the block. Place it to the front of the mat, and then make your way towards the back for a child's pose. So big toes to touch, bring your sits bones on top of your heels, widen your knees. Have some containment, so allow the torso to be cradled by the thighs. And then as you press your sits bones onto your heels, start to walk your hands out. Keep them in line with your shoulders. And then eventually you're gonna melt the head down, melt the heart towards the mat, keep the armpits lifted, keep the elbows lifted, child's pose. So allow the front body to be heavy and pull towards the front. Allow the back body to be heavy, pulling towards the back. So there's this sensation of a middle point pulling forward, and then the middle pulling backwards. How are you? Use your breath to balance through any challenges on and off the mat. Now press into your hands, lift your head. You're gonna bring your shoulders over your wrists, and then separate your toes, tuck them under. Come up for downward facing dog. So lift the hips up and back, resisting the urge to move your hands and feet. Come on to the balls of your feet, lift your knees up, press your thighs back as you curl tailbone up and press the mat away. Grip the mat, press it away. Bend the knees here, and then maybe you start to pedal and walk out your dog. As you drop the heels, try lifting the toes a little. opening the hamstrings, opening the back of the legs. Now find stillness. So really press the mat away as you curl your tailbone up. Press your thigh bones back. Lift the knees up. One breath in and one breath out. Bring your feet together and up with your big toes to touch. Inhale, sweep your your right leg up behind you. Keep the toes in the knee facing down, and then you're gonna bend your knee, squeeze it in towards center, look between your hands, round your shoulders and step your foot right where you're looking. Lower your left leg down, and then lengthen your torso by coming onto your fingertips, magnetize your right heel and your left knee, and then inhale to reach up, engage the navel, lengthen from the hips to the fingertips here. Now you can stay here, practice lengthening, or open the right hand behind you, coming into a twist, extending from the armpit to the fingers on the right and the left. And then stay here, or maybe tip back, bringing that right hand towards the left thigh, and then extending from the left hip point to the left fingers. Breathe in, right arm comes up. Both arms extend, and then on the exhale, both hands come down to frame the right foot. Tuck the left toes under, pick up the left knee, and then you're gonna step your right foot back into downward facing dog. One breath in here and one breath out. Feet together and up. Inhale, left leg rises. Look between your hands, the toes and the knee faces down. Bend the knee, squeeze it in towards your midline, round your shoulders, step your foot between your hands. Lower your left knee down, come onto the top of the foot, so untuck the toes. Lengthen the torso, magnetize the left heel and the right knee, and then inhale, rise up, low lunge. Take a second to inhale and lengthen from the hips to the fingers, strong in the hip flexors. And then stay here on the exhale, open the left hand up, coming into a twist. Stretching from the armpit to the fingertips on both sides. Stay here or tip back. So left hand comes to the thigh, and then the right hand would lift up and back, stretching from the hip all the way through the fingertips. Breathe in. And then on your next inhale, you're gonna bring that left hand up, take a second to lengthen, and then on the exhale, your hands come down the frame of the foot, tuck the right toes under, and then step back to downward facing dog. Take one breath in and one breath out. And then breathe in. Come high onto the balls of both of your feet. Start rolling your shoulders past your wrists into a plank pose. So broaden across the shoulders here, one line from head to tailbone. Now you can drop your knees or you can keep them lifted. And then you're gonna shift your shoulders past your fingers. Bend your elbows straight back, lower all the way down to your belly. We're gonna come up for a cobra pose here. So take your hands wider than your mat and forward of your shoulders. Point your elbows straight up towards the ceiling. Spread your fingers really wide. Hook your pubic bone into the mat. Lengthen your thighs back. Press into the tops of your feet. And then inhale, press into your arms. Start spiraling the elbow creases towards your thumb and wrapping the upper arms around. Coming up for a cobra pose. Bring the chest through the arms and lengthen the heart away from the toes. On an exhale, lay as forward as you can and down. Feel the length that you created in the thoracic spine. And then bring your hands under your shoulders, zip your knees and feet together, and then press into your hands, knees, and the tops of your feet. Tuck your toes under, lift up and back for downward facing dog. One breath in and out. Now bring your feet together, big toes to touch. You can stroll to the top of the mat or you can hop to the top. So a breathe in to prepare. You go at the end of an exhale, you're gonna land with your feet soft, hip width in a forward fold. So inhale, prepare as you look at where you wanna go. Do not deviate your gaze. And then exhale, jump where you're looking or step. And then forward fold, release the head. Maybe sway side to side. And then you're gonna pick up all 10 of your toes, Feel the four corners of your feet. Lengthen your toes, lay them flat. Hands come to hips, come halfway up, roll the upper arms and the shoulders back, point the elbows up, and then exhale, rise up with a flat back. And then coming into mountain pose. So bring your head over your tailbone, shoulders over hips. Your feet can be hip width or they can be really together with your big toes to touch, heels touch at the top of the mat. Open across the collarbones, gently squeeze the shoulder blades, press into the heels, reach through the crown, mountain pose. Pressing into the feet, notice the four corners, find stillness. Now bend your knees, inhale, sweep your arms down to go up, Ardha Baddha. On your exhale, hinge from your hips, fold wide over your straight legs and come into forward fold Uttanasana. Really bend your knees enough so that you can plant your hands right by your feet. You're gonna pick up the right foot and step it as far back as you can. Low lunge, lower the right knee down and untuck the toes. Now you have the option here to keep them tucked under if you wish. Otherwise, we're gonna do a big ankle stretch. Bring the left hand on top of the left thigh, relax the belly and turn. Left hand can come up or stay on the thigh, stacking the arms in a column, and then maybe pick up the right knee either on the top of the foot or with the toes tucked under for a low lunge twist. This will be really beneficial for the peak pose. Now, bicep along the ear and then bring the left hand down, lower the right knee. If your toes are tucked, untuck them. Start coming into an Ardha Baddha where you're straightening your left leg and then come all the way down, sitting your sits bones on the outside of your right leg. So your right leg is in a virasana leg. Ground down into your sits bones. Inhale to reach your arms up. Lengthen, grab the right foot. Take a second to breathe in again and extend your chest, and then exhale, widen your elbows and fold over your right leg. 3-limb forward fold. Keep the left knee pointing straight up. And then exhale, bring your hands to frame your leg and walk yourself back in. Rebend your left knee, coming back through a low lunge. You're gonna tuck the right toes under. Pick that right knee up, so now you're in this runner's lunge. And then go ahead and straighten the left leg up. For a 3-legged dog, turn and open up that hip. Re-extend the left leg and then bring the leg down. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, bend your knee, look between your hands and step your right foot between your hands. Spiral the left foot down, lining the edge of the foot up with the back of the mat, the right toes with the front, the knee is over the ankle, the thigh is parallel, and then bring your arms up to warrior 2. Press into the edge of the left foot, stack your shoulders over your hips, really bend into the right knee, make it parallel and track the knee towards the pinky toe. Now, you can take the left hand or you can keep them straight and then tuck this left hand into the right thigh. And then keep the legs as they are. It's hip back for peaceful warrior. So lengthening from the hips to the fingers, or you can keep the left hand relaxed by the thigh. Breathe in, straighten your right leg. Left hand can come to hip. Start coming out to the right. Reach your right hand out as far as you can to the side, and then bring the right hand down. So maybe you're on your ankle, maybe you're on top of a block or on your shin. Then turn your rib cage from bottom to top. Lean back like you're in between 2 panes of glass. Try to get even on your right rib cage and your left. And then option to reach the hand up. Now you can stay here with your arm lifted or go ahead and try to bind that left hand for a triangle with the binds. Roll that shoulder back. Open the chest. Now, breathe in, look at your right foot. If your hand is bound, reach it up. Bend your right knee, and then the left hand comes down, right hand comes down, frame the leg, and then press into your hands, step your right foot back, down dog. Now, stay here and breathe. Take a child's pose and meet back on the third exhale, or you can breathe in, roll to plank. Exhale, shift your shoulders, either drop your knees or keep them lifted. You can lower halfway down or all the way. Inhale for upward dog or cobra, and then exhale back for downward facing dog. Now you can walk to the top of the mat or you can hop. So inhale to prepare and look at where you want to go. Exhale, make your way there. Feet hip width and a forward fold just like we did before. Now take a second to release the head. Rock a little side to side. Lift your toes to activate the four corners. Hands to hips, come halfway up and breathe in. Roll the arms back, point the elbows up, and then exhale, rise up, flat back, mountain pose. Again, your feet can be hip width or your feet can be really together. Bring the shoulders over the hips. Bring the head over the tailbone. Open across your collarbones. Shine your palms by your side. Recover with an open chest for one breath in and one breath out. And just know, balance isn't about perfection. It's the courage to breathe through the wobbles, through the shakes, and just show up anyway. So, one big breath in, sweep your arms down to go up, Ardha Baddha. Exhale, hinge from your hips, fold wide over your leg, forward fold, Uttanasana. Bend your knees, plant your palms down, pick up the left leg and step it as far back as you can, low lunge. Lower the left knee, and then you can tuck the toes or keep them untucked. The left hand comes under the shoulder, fingers spread wide, right hand on your thigh, relax your belly and turn. Once you're twisted and your shoulders are almost stacked, maybe you reach that right arm up or you can keep it on the thigh. And then you can lift the left thigh off the ground, lift the left knee off the ground with the toes tucked or with them not tucked. Big ankle stretch if you're on the top of your foot here. Low lunge twist. And then right bicep along the ear, bring the hand down. Start to straighten the right leg, flexing the toes towards the face, coming into Ardha Hanumasana. So take a second to lengthen that hamstring and then just keep lowering down until you're on the top of the left shin and the foot is on the outside of the left hip. Ground into your sits bones. Breathe in to reach your arms up and extend, and then exhale to grab the foot. Take one more breath in to extend the chest forward, gaze ahead, and then exhale. Keep gazing ahead until you can't. Widen the elbows, and then bring the head towards the leg. 3-limb forward fold. Take a breath in, and then on the exhale, you're gonna bring your hands to frame your leg, walk back in about halfway so that you can re-bend the knee. Bring your hands down to frame your foot, tuck the left toes under and pick up the knee. And then you're going to sweep your right leg back for three-legged dog. And then bend the knee to open up that hip. Inhale, straightens your right leg again, and then exhale to bring the right leg down. One breath in and one breath out. Feet together and up. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, bend the knee and step your foot between your hand. Spiral the right foot down. Line the edge of the right foot up with the back, the left toes with the front, knee over ankle, thigh parallel. Cartwheel your arms up, warrior two. Press into the back edge of the left foot, bring the shoulders center, and then re-bend the left knee, track it towards the pinky toe. Maybe you stay here or take the right hand, flip the palm, and tuck the hand in between the left thigh crease. And then you can tip back. Or maybe you keep the right hand by the right leg. Stretch from the hips to the fingertips here. And then inhale to straighten your left leg. Right hand comes to hip. Reach the left hand as far out to the side as you can before you bring your hand down. Option to be on a block. Option to be on your shin. Turn your rib cage from bottom to top. Get the left rib cage and the right rib cage to be the same in length. And then maybe reach the right arm up, stretching the shoulder from the armpit all the way to the fingers. And then you have the option to flip the palm once again and tuck the fingers between the thigh for a bind. Roll the right shoulder back. Reach the head away from the tailbone. And I'm sorry if I get my sides confused, but I hope y'all know what to do. All right, my friend, if your hand is bound, re-extend the right arm up. Bend the knee, look down at your left foot, bring both hands down to frame your left foot, pivot on the right foot, and then press into your hand, step your left foot back, down dog. Now, stay here and breathe for 3 breaths. Take a child's pose and meet me back on the 3rd exhale and down dog, or inhale, roll to plank. Drop your knees or keep them lifted, shift your shoulders, and exhale, lower halfway or all the way down. Inhale, lift your chest for cobra or upward dog, and then exhale, lift your hips back for downward facing dog. 1 breath in and 1 breath out, and then you can hop or walk to the top. Inhale to prepare you, look at where you want to go. Bend your knees, and then exhale, make your way there. Forward fold, feet hip width. Let the head go. Maybe sway a little, maybe stay still. Then inhale, lift your toes, bring your torso halfway up, hands to hips, roll the shoulders and elbows up, and then exhale, rise up with a flat back. Back to mountain pose. Take a moment to notice how you feel. Recover with an open chest. And just know you can breathe, allowing balance to unfold at its own pace. All right, balance and twist. Press into your feet for mountain pose. Bring your hands to your hips. You're gonna shift the weight into your left leg by bending your right knee. Open the hip up to the side, so externally opening the knee out. Your heel can come to your ankle. Your sole can come to your calf, or the sole can come to your thigh as close to the groin as you can, never on your knee. So find your spot in tree pose and ground into the 4 corners of your feet. Then maybe your arms go out, palms flip, and then you can reach your arms up. Keeping the hips level. Open the knee out to the side, press the leg into the foot into the leg. Rikshasana tree pose. It's okay if you fall out. Now, bring your hands to prayer in front of your chest. And then you're gonna unpluck your right knee, coming into one-legged mountain. Start hinging forward without thinking too much, just step your right leg back. You're in a high lunge. Turn and hook your elbow outside of your left leg for this revolved high lunge. So keep turning, keep twisting, and then go ahead and lower your right leg. Come back to center. And then you might have to drop your hands just to bring your left leg down. And then rise up to kneeling. Bring your hands to your low back, extend up from your hips, press into the tops of your feet and your shin. And then lift up through the chest. Maybe start looking up. You can bring your right hand to your heel, your left hand to your heel for camel. So squeeze the shoulder blades, lift through the chest, and then come up slow. Back into tabletop. And then move your hands, one large palm print up, your knees back, tuck your toes under, and then lift up and back for down dog. 1 breath in and 1 breath out. And then again, stroll or hop to the top. So inhale, look at where you want to go, bend your knees. Exhale, make your way to forward fold. Your feet hip width, release your head. Option to sway. And now you're gonna lift your toes, bring your hands to your hips, roll your shoulders back, roll your elbows up, torso halfway, and then exhale, rise up with a flat back. Mountain pose. So you can bring your feet together or keep them hip width. Ground into the four corners of your feet, reach through the crown of your head. Recover with an open chest. And then we'll repeat. So bring your hands to your hips, bend the left knee, come onto the right foot, and then open the left hip out. So ankle to heel to ankle, foot to calf, or foot to the thigh. Press your leg into your foot into your leg, find your balance. Keep opening the hip up, and then you can bring your arms to a T, flip your palms, and then lift your arms up, extending from the foot to the fingers, lengthening higher and higher and higher up in tree pose. And then hands come to prayer, bring them in front of your heart, unpluck your left leg, one-legged mountain, and then hinge without thinking too much, step your left leg back, high lunge. Go ahead and hook your elbow outside of your thigh, turn, relax your belly, and twist for a revolved high lunge. Take a breath in. And then on an exhale, lower your knee, untuck your toes, come back to center with your hands in prayer, and then you're gonna bring your hands down, come to tabletop, walk yourself up to kneeling. Have your knees hip width, hands to low back, and start extending up from the hips, lifting through your chest as you start to look up, press into the tops of your feet. And then this time, maybe left hand comes down first, then the right hand. Squeeze the shoulders, lift through the chest, camel pose. Big breath in. And then on the exhale, rise up slowly. Come back into tabletop here. And then hands move a large palm print up, knees back, tuck your toes under, and lift your hips. So this is your opportunity for one last downward facing dog, one last vinyasa. You could stay in down dog and breathe for 3 breaths. You can take a child's pose and meet back on the third exhale, or you can inhale, roll to plank. Drop your knees or keep them lifted. Exhale, lower halfway down or all the way down. Inhale, lift your chest for up dog or cobra, and then exhale, lift your hips for downward facing dog. Now, we've been doing a lot of work, but if you want to hop to the top, you can. Otherwise, just take a stroll to the top of your mat. And then let your head go. Straighten your arms, bring your hands to your hips, bring your torso halfway up, take a breath in, and then exhale, rise up with a flat back. Mountain pose. So take a moment to notice how you feel after we just created that energy. And now we're gonna explore the peak pose mini flow from earlier in the series. So this moves a little faster, linking 1 breath per 1 movement, or at least that's what we're trying for. So we're gonna move from one-legged mountain to dancing Shiva to Half-Lotus Forward Fold or Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana to chair pose. And then we repeat for 3 rounds. So find your mountain pose, reach to the crown of your head. Inhale, your arms rise, your right leg rises, knee is bent in line with your hip. You're gonna take your left hand to your knee, open the right hand out, dancing Shiva. On an inhale, take your foot to the middle of your thigh, reach your arms up, and then on the exhale, you're gonna come down. Maybe your hands are on blocks, maybe they're on the mat for Half-Lotus Forward Fold. Exhale. Inhale, drop your right foot and sit into chair pose, arms reach up, and then exhale, rise up, arms by your side. Inhale, left leg rises, one-legged mountain. Hand to knee, open up for a dancing Shiva variation twist. Inhale, you're gonna bring your foot to the inside of your thigh. And then exhale, lower for this Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana, forward fold. Inhale, drop your left foot, sit into chair, and then exhale, rise up. So inhale, one-legged mountain, and then open up, exhale. Inhale, foot to the thigh, reach your arms up, and then exhale, come into this forward fold. Inhale, lower your foot, come to chair, exhale, rise up. Inhale, one-legged mountain, and then open up for the twist, exhale. Inhale, bring your foot to your thigh, reach your arms up, and then exhale, hinge and come down. Take a breath in, lower your foot, sit into chair, and then exhale, rise up. One more round. Inhale, leg rises, open up. Inhale, bring your foot to your thigh, reach your arms up, and then exhale, come into a fold. Release your right foot, sit down, chair pose. Exhale, rise up. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, open up. Inhale, bring your foot to your thigh, reach your arms up. Exhale, come into the fold. Breathe in, foot down, chair pose. Exhale, rise up, mountain pose. Woo, notice how you feel. Just a chance to build a little bit of heat, link breath with movement. And now we get to explore Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana. So just like in part one, we just did the second option, but there is another option. So you're gonna ground into your feet, find mountain pose. Bend your right knee, and then you're gonna lift your leg for one-legged mountain. Grab the top of your foot, and then you're gonna bring the sole of your foot in towards your groin, just like we did at the beginning. Arms rise. Now you can fold like we just did, or you could try to bind your hand to grab the big toe. It's a little hard to do. And then you would take your right hand down, maybe you're on a block. Maybe both hands come down. So for me today, both hands down on the mat, and then the head comes in towards the leg. One more breath in. And then exhale, you're gonna straighten your arms. Ooh. Straighten your arms. And then hands to hips, see if you can rise up, uncross your leg, and then back to mountain pose. Just notice how you feel. There's a lot going on in my house right now, so I've got a little bit of the wobbles going on, and that's okay if you do too. We're still getting all the same benefits. So hands to hips, go ahead and bend your left knee. Ground into the right foot, lift your left knee up. Take your right hand to the top of that left foot, tuck the sole in towards the thigh. Arms rise, lengthen. Maybe you flip the palm, just like we've been doing, and maybe you could grab your toe. Right arm would reach up, and then you come down onto the block or onto the floor. And then option two, both hands down. Head comes in towards the leg. Inhale to straighten your arms, hands to hips, see if you can exhale and rise up, and then uncross your leg. Mountain pose. Recover with an open chest, one breath in and out. Now you're gonna take your feet as wide as your yoga mat. Have them parallel. Bring your hands to your hips, hinge and fold. And then take your hands wider than your mat, so to the outside of your mat. And then lift your knees up, press your thighs back, curl tailbone up, lengthen your chest, take a breath in. And then exhale, bend your elbows wide and fold in over your legs. Keep the legs strong and active, pressing the thighs back, lifting the tailbone. And then maybe you clasp opposite elbows, allowing the weight of the arms to decompress the spine, releasing the entire posterior chain. And then you can switch the elbow on top. And then bring your hands down, straighten your arms, straighten your chest, breathe in, hands to hips, exhale, rise up. All right, so bring your heels in, bring your toes out. We're gonna come into yogi squat, so you could keep your hands on your hips. You can have them in prayer, try not to move them. That's the challenge. And then just bend your knees, come down. Press down evenly into your feet. You could bring a block under your sits bones if you want. Lift your chest, press your knees away. And then bring your hands behind you so you can lower down. And then we're gonna come back to reclined. So have your block close by and bring the soles flat. Again, you can hold the thighs or bring the arms out straight. Lower, lower, slow. And then we will counter this with bridge pose. So walk your heels in towards your glutes, have your toes facing the top of the mat, have your legs hip width. You could have a supported bridge where you're on your block. Otherwise, tuck the chin, walk the upper arms under as much as you can, and then press evenly into your feet. Lift your hips up, walk your upper arms in even more. Maybe you could grab your heels, maybe you can clasp your hands. Keep lifting up through the chest, tuck the chin, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the low back, bridge pose. And then if you can, with control, let your hands go, working on that. And then lower down slowly, inch by inch, vertebrae by vertebrae. Tailbone being the last thing to unravel. Then, if you did not have your block under your sacrum, lift your hips and place the block there. And then you can bend your knees and lift them. And then lift your legs up, allowing the feet to hover over the hips for a legs up the wall. Maybe you stay here, or if you're familiar with shoulder stand, you can bend your knees, bring your hands to the block and lift up, grabbing the low back for a supported shoulder stand, and lift up, reaching through the balls of your feet. Otherwise, you're on the block with your legs up. One option is not better than the other. You're both getting the same similar benefits. Just preference. And then bend your knees. Hold the block as you lower your legs down, bringing them flat. And then press evenly into your feet, lift up to remove the block. Nice, that should feel pretty nice after all that forward folding. Now take your feet as wide as your mat, parallel to the mat, and then we're just gonna do some windshield wipers. So exhale to drop the legs, inhale to come to center. And then once you're back to center, let your knees knock in. And go ahead and straighten your legs. We're gonna come into just a short savasana to balance this practice. This is a breathe into balance flow. So we wanna balance it out. We warm up, we build energy, we take ourselves up, we take ourselves back down, we balance out with rest. And so we're just going to take another 3 rounds of 3-part breath, letting the belly rise first, then the rib cage, then the chest. So you could bring your hands to your belly or heart. You can leave them by your sides facing up or down. You can bring them to your belly, just whatever feels good for you. If you find thoughts popping in, just notice them as the observer, like you're watching clouds in the sky. Just let it pass by just as fast. I welcome you to savasana. Take a deeper inhale. A slower, longer exhale. Tap your fingers, wiggle your toes and your wrists and ankles. Slowly introducing movement. Maybe you shake your legs. Maybe now you reach your arms up overhead. And then you can roll to your side, letting your head rest on your arm for a breath in and out. And then stay here or press down into your hands to lift yourself up. And then we're gonna find Sukhasana. But today, take the opposite leg on top. So whatever is your normal leg, do the other leg. So cross at your shins, rock forward, let your knees just fall on your feet. Head over tailbone, shoulders over hips. You can bring your hands up for receiving, down for grounding, or in prayer for more of a traditional experience. And then I'll invite you to close your eyes or to soften your gaze by looking at the tip of your nose and softening the muscles of your face. You can choose to take another really deep breath in and sigh out your exhale to close, or you can take the vibrational healing sound of Om. Your choice. Go ahead and breathe in though. Om. And you can bow your chin towards your chest. Thank yourself for making it this far, for showing up for yourself, and for breathing into balance. Notice how that feels and know it's available for you anytime you want to tap into it. And I thank you for practicing with me today. You can bring your hand to your thighs and lift your head and open your eyes. Nice work. Thank you for joining me so much for this Breathe into Balance Yoga Flow and the Yoga Flow series if you've been following along. Notice what it feels like to be balanced, to breathe through the challenges, and know that these lessons you learn on your yoga mat, they go with you into the world. So the practice doesn't end here. These things integrate into every fiber of us, and we start to practice them off the mat, which is where consistency can really pay off. So my mission is to help you find your Zen and live as authentically as you can. by showing you you can learn amazing yoga at home. You don't need a studio membership if you don't want one. You don't need fancy clothes. You don't need a fancy location. You just need the space to roll out a mat. You don't even really need a mat. You just need to show up. And your life will change. So, I'll be back again to share experience, strength, hope, and yoga with you one breath at a time. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet done that. Like and leave me a comment. Let me know how this goes for you. What are some of your favorite ways to find balance when you're off? Leave those in the comments. This way we can all inspire one another and learn from one another. So go rock your recovery, heal those traumas, heal those compulsive behaviors. You got this. I believe in you. Namaste. I'll see you in the next video.